stitching there? Is that an arbitrary?
Well, I already know that that's where it's ending. So yeah, so what I did is I went right over where it ended, okay? And I made a marking. It doesn't matter what happens to that side, because I'm going to open it up again. I need to make sure that I'm coming right back to there.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
How did, this is back to you. How did you, is this right at the end?
Yes.
Where the creases
Where
again,
the
but on
crease-
the other side?
Exactly. But and I pinned it to me, and I closed it and make sure that I could match it. So you make sure that you match it, because if you don't match it, it's not going to work. Here it is, it's opening up again, you see? If you do not mark it, it's not going to come back to that same spot. Do you see now? I can do that, see? And I'm going to pin it right there so that it doesn't move.
When did you mark it at the beginning?
I marked it after I closed it, planned it, make sure it was nice and flat, and then I marked it, okay? All right, now I'm going to come over to this side, and
So
I'm
do
going...
you mark it and then pin it, or do you
Mark-
it, unzip it?
I pinned it, I zipped it, pinned it, marked it, and then took it apart again. In
Just to
order
make sure,
That's
right?
right, that's right. Because otherwise they are not going to match, okay? They're just not going to match. All right, now let's take a look and see if I
So
can
you're
come...
sewing on the seam allowance?
Yes, yes, I'm sewing on the seam allowance, but my zipper is open. Okay, my zipper is open. All right, what I'm going to do now to see if I can do this, I'm going to put the needle right on here, and I'm going to continue to go up. Now, you know, and if you don't know, you will find out, that if you go down on here and you go up on there, something is going to happen. If you go down on this seam and on the other side seam you go the other way, something is always going to be different, okay? So this is why I marked it, because if I don't mark it, okay, it's going to shift.
So should we always start from the end here?
Well, you can start from the end as long as it's marked,
As-
you're cool.
okay.
The idea is that you need to mark. If you don't mark it, it's just going to go where it wants to. And remember, just like when you're driving, that car will take you somewhere. If you put your foot on the pedal, if you do not tell it where it has to go, it still takes you somewhere, right? But not where you want to go. So here I can start stitching anyway, provided I'm at that same spot. There it is, I'm on the same spot. I could take this out, and now I'm going to continue to sew this. And then, of course, you know, I do all these demos, and sometimes I have like a lot of people, important people, and I'm nervous, right? And I'm trying to do this demo, and I'm hoping and praying that it comes out the way that I want. Sometimes it doesn't. But in most cases, it does. I was doing a complicated zipper like this one time, and I was in Egypt, and this guy says to me, "How do you know it's going to come out?" I said, "Because I pray." And he looked at me like I'm crazy. I pray. I hope you pray.
So you never stitch across, you're just stitching.
That's right, which is why the zipper is so difficult. You do not, you see what happens? These two guys are right smack there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the other side down a little bit further because my faith is failing me right now. So I'm going to just, remember where I was before? I'm just going to bring it down a little bit further on the other side. Because this is where the key to this whole zipper is. When I bring this slider up, this doesn't meet, I'm in trouble.
So
Here it is, they're two separate pieces. Go ahead.
You could like edit it, like you stop and go, so you could get it just right. Or...
No, I didn't do that. What I was doing was, I did one side, and then I started to do the other. And when I was finished, I realized that I was still a little loose on one side, so I went back and I reinforced it.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't
You
do
just like
anything.
tighten it up.
Right.
Okay.
I didn't do anything different. I just went down a little further. Now, do you notice that the zipper is totally open?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, open. I have two seams. Two edges. Okay. Now, this is the moment of truth. You're going to come here, you see, and I have to pull that slider, and those 2 points have to join. So I'm going here and
Yay.
this is the way it is, okay? And then, of course, it has to be, because it's red, it's laughing at you right now, but This is the way it goes. And you can go as close as you want, but do you see how it's closed? I don't have a bunching over here. So the key is to mark it. If you don't mark it, it's going to get punched. Now,
Sorry, when do you mark it?
Where-
I'm just so...
Where it goes open.
I will go over it.
Do you mark it after you stitch the first
After I stitch the first seam, right, after I stitch the first seam.
and it's closed?
And I close it.
We should like, do it together.
I close it and pin it. Close it and pin it. Locate the point at which I stopped and mark it across so that they're both even. You have to go to the end of the seam, mark it, go straight across and mark it, and then continue to stitch again. Yes?
How do you close off the end? Because I did this once and I went to shut the zipper and I pulled it off.
What happens is, if you put your slider and it went all the way,
Like I put that in